Welcome back to the Sovereign Ratio. Today we're going to take a look at how to find your own altcoin gems, particularly in the micro and low cap realms. Before we get started, if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and leave me a comment below. So step one, identify narratives. So the first step really doesn't involve any research on your part other than to just keep in touch with crypto Twitter and crypto YouTube. If you continuously keep updated with following high quality people on Twitter, watching what they're posting, looking at their altcoin calls, watching charts, and the same thing on YouTube, watching different channels, higher quality channels. There are definitely some influencers that do not have your best interest in mind, but following high quality YouTube channels, you'll eventually start to gain information and process what kind of narratives are happening and what the next narrative may be and what positive narratives are going to be for the upcoming bull run. Like for this one that we're coming into, one example is Cosmos. And right here on Twitter, I'm following Cosmos airdrops where you can get information. And I've also posted a video about this on how to stake and earn potential airdrops for a lot of various projects in Q1 and Q2 for Cosmos. As I've shown in previous videos, another tool that I like to use to identify narratives is crypto bubbles. If you watch crypto bubbles, particularly on a day when the market has a red day or dumps significantly, you can always catch narratives by seeing what tokens perform the best, even in a dump. What tokens have most interest, what tokens have the most bids right below price to continue keeping it where it is. Generally, those are good quality picks for the next bull run because those are tokens that a lot of people have interest in, which, for example, we have Injected Protocol, we have Solana, and we have several others that held up really well. SEI or SEI is another one. Mina Protocol is another one that has a lot of interest right now. So that is definitely a good way to identify narratives, is on a red day in the market, coming to crypto bubbles and seeing what held up the best or what is actually still in the green at this point. Step two is to find places where you can identify other tokens that exist within that narrative or ecosystem. Continuing to use the Cosmos ecosystem as an example, what I did to find one that I posted a video on yesterday called Rebus Chain was just simply go to the Cosmos ecosystem website and start scrolling through all of these that are listed and looking at market caps on CoinMarketCap. So for example, I did the Rebus Chain video. When I originally went through here, I was looking at these and then comparing in CoinMarketCap to see what the project was, what its total market cap was, so on and so forth. So then you can take that, which we picked up from here, Rebus, and then we can just go right over here, type Rebus in the bar, click on it, and then we have all the information we need right here between the about, the markets showing us where we can buy it, the about section showing us what it is, the website to go look at it further if you want to explore it, the market cap, the volume, and everything. So we have the information we need right here. And once we determine whether we think that project can survive a bear market or just even up until the halving, those are the ones that you want to look for. So Rebus is one that I did a video on, and it's because I personally invested a little bit of cash into it because it looks like if it does take off, it could really take off in a big way. And again, this is a very high risk type of investing style, so I don't recommend putting a lot of money into this, but it is a nice way to catch early tokens before they do crazy jumps. Like, you know, if you would have done this research on gaming and found Axie Infinity in the last bull run, you could have potentially gotten up to a 346x out of it. So that's kind of what we're looking for with things like Rebus here. You can also do things in a more generalized format, like on CoinMarketCap here. You could literally go on top and hit cryptocurrencies and go to categories, and you're taken to this section, which will have different altcoins grouped together by narrative. So like right here, the number one trending one right now is social money, and then there's the Sui ecosystem, marketing. You know, here's one for Solana. Here's one for Polygon Ventures. Here's one for meme coins. Here's one for the Bitcoin ecosystem, the Ethereum ecosystem. So you can do a lot of research by simply just going to categories and looking for low cap gems within the categories. The third step in the process is simply to just do a little bit of TA on it to determine what your entries are going to be and what you think you can get out of it in the next market. So here's a prime example of one that I found myself. It's called Cold Stack. I found it on a website that evaluates DPIN projects. And the reason that I like Cold Stack is because it essentially supports file storage networks like Arweave and Shadow and Filecoin. And I think that's going to be a big narrative in the next bull run. And if Cold Stack supports that and it's a relatively low cap token and has some history and has survived a bear market, then that's something that I'm interested in. So on the lower allocation portion of my portfolio, I am putting a very small percentage into cold stack in case that narrative takes off like I think it's going to. And this is a prime example where we can just do TA and look what maybe a Fibonacci retracement would be from this last move that it had. And then we see the golden pocket sitting at 17 to 20 cents. So maybe that's a good place to start entering or DCAing in. We can also just kind of look at the stochastics here, and when the stochastic resets on the weekly, if that lines up with that golden ratio, then that's probably a good place to start DCAing in. You can also kind of project targets by just grabbing the Fibonacci tool and doing a Fibonacci extension from the high to the low and looking for the 1618. Generally, at most tokens' worst performance in a bull run, it'll get to its 1618. Sometimes it only gets to like its original high at here to $1.65. But in most tokens that have any sort of quality to them will usually hit at least their 1618 in a bull market. Now, a lot of them do significantly more than that. You can see the 2618, the 3618. The 3618 is kind of stretching it, but you know, I've seen tokens do a 4236 extension in a bull market. You never really know. So when I tell my audience things like cold stack, for example, I'm going to tell them 266, even though there is a likelihood that it could go to 430 or $6 or $7. We really don't know because it's more of a time. I think time-based analysis is the better way to do it. At 365 days after the halving, where's the token? Is it at the 1618? Is it at the 2618? Where is it at that point? That's going to tell me its overall strength for how it's going to continue until the end of the bull run. And since I care about my audience like I do, this is a little added bonus. One of the tools that I use to find low cap projects. This website is dpin.ninja/projects. I personally think that DPIN is going to be a massive narrative for this coming run, along with gaming and AI and proof of work. Those are kind of the narratives that I'm interested in. In the DPIN narrative, this goes from the top ranking market cap, which is Chainlink, all the way to the bottom ranking, whatever that might be. It might not even have a market cap at this point. But you can kind of scroll through here and do research. Here's another one, BitTensor or Tau is one of my favorite picks. Render, The Graph, Filecoin. These are all, if you watch my portfolio video, these are all coins that are in my portfolio video. So this video is pretty short and sweet, but I hope it at least gave you a baseline on how to do research to find your own low cap and micro cap gems. This is going to be a pretty significant bull run, in my opinion, with all the economic things going on, the ETF, institutional investors getting interested in crypto regulation and the government. And crypto is a hot topic right now. It really is. I think it's going to be a big part of the presidential election. And I think now is probably the last bull run that we're going to have to make just absolutely crazy gains before the economy gets into a pretty rough situation at the end of the decade. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, leave me a comment below. Let me know what altcoins you want to see me evaluate. Let me know what you want me to do videos on or whatever. We'll see you in the next video. Safe trading.